It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Tuesday episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. Great timing because we've got a hockey game to break down from last night. Nielsen, Cass, and Gager back with you once again. All part of the Nielsen Media CoolBet Network, brought to you by our great partners over at CoolBet. If you want to bet on hockey or anything else, you can do it at CoolBet. Sign up for an account today at coolbet.com. Use the code Two Guys when you sign up. You'll get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. Stay cool, bet responsibly with CoolBet. Lots to get to from the hockey game last night. You guys are on post games and pre games, busy boys. But no show last week because I was in Disneyland. And guys, you know what they say, happiest place on earth. And it really is. Like, there's no garbage. There's no birds. There's no bugs. Everybody's happy. If the whole world was Disneyland, the world would be a better place, boys. It was fun. I had a great time.
I love the pictures. The young Jedi in training.
Oh yeah,
awesome, great stuff. Great stuff.
Marshall had a legendary run through Star Wars Land, just an all timer. It was great. Have you guys been to that Star Wars Land?
No. Cass, have you taken the girls yet, or are they too
No.
young? Stuff?
No, still a little too young. We're waiting until like the youngest because she's turning 3 in a couple months, and we're like we want her to be old
a couple
enough
years.
That she's gonna have memories for that. So yeah,
8 and 6 was good. That was a really good age. But even like when you guys walk into Star Wars Land, you're gonna be like knowing like the Mando was there. That was great. I mean, Ray, everybody was there. It was just the way it's designed. Like I went back. My family was going one way, and I said, it was at night. I said, I'm just going to whip up this way because I wanted to walk through Star Wars Land at night just to kind of, and it feels like you're in one of the freaking movies. Like
that's sweet.
It was awesome. Yeah. When we walked in there, Marsha goes, Daddy, it's like we're in Tatooine. And I was just like, it's a little more updated than Tatooine, son, but you're still learning. So it was pretty awesome though. It was a good time. And because of that, we're going to do some Disney trivia a little bit later on here. That'd be fun. Throw some.
If it's princess trivia, I'm going to absolutely rock this thing.
Well, this is the thing. It's going to be tough because, it's a little bit different. It's like a Disney character connection. So I'll say the character, you guys say the movie. So
again, if it's Disney princess related, I got this.
Yeah, there's a few princesses in there. All right, boys. So lots to get to. You guys, pregame, postgame, Oilers plus TSN 1260. Lots to dive into from this game last night. Cass, how critical were you last night of this victory, right? It's 2 points, but there's talking points on how the team could have been better last night.
Yeah, I mean, we got absolutely ripped to shreds, me and Tommy on the postgame show, because apparently we were being so critical and so bad. And it's like, it wasn't a pretty game. It was great that they won. Great that they found a way to win. Good for them for coming back in that. It wasn't a game that San Jose should have ever been in. So, like, you played sloppy. You made a lot of mistakes. So you didn't play a good game. Now, at the end of the day, you got the 2 points. Fantastic. You end up with it. Took you to overtime. Good on you for that. But I think it's fair to look at that game and say, that was really sloppy. It was a hot mess for the first 2 periods, where they just continually turn over pucks at the blue line, a lot of reaching for pucks, a lot of chasing. I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of, and I think one texter summed it up well, where it was like, there was a lot of like, here you go. Like, oh, you want the puck back in our zone. Here you go. Like, oh, we're going to just give you the puck back when all 3 of our forwards are at the far blue line, which happened. It happened once in the first period where I was like, where I think I literally said, because I was in the stands for this one, I was with my buddy Rob, and I was like, I think he heard me say, I was just like, where are the forwards? All three of them. This is McDavid's line in the first period.
Yeah.
Were literally stopped at the far blue line with the Oilers' 2 defensemen under heavy pressure at the tops of their own circles with no outlets. And they turned the puck over, and then it was a ended up giving a grade A chance against immediately after. And I was just like, what is happening right now? Like, how are you doing this? So I don't know if it was just, they were thinking it was going to be point night, or if they were, what was going on. But it was an ugly game. Again, great they got a win. Happy they got a win. You still get the 2 points. So it's ultimately you can flush it, like you can brush it away because you still won, but it wasn't pretty. And I think it's fair to say that.
I think one of the points you make there, it's happened quite a bit this year when I've heard people bitching about the defense's inability to get the puck up the ice. And it's because there's 3 members of the opposition in between you and your closest forward, right? Like, that's one of the things that now would that partially in some way be by design? Not all 3 of them, but
fast break team. They're a fast break team, right? So they're a transition team, a fast break team. So it's like the second they have the puck, they want to get going north. And I get that. I understand it. It's one of the things that makes them really dangerous offensively. But you also have to recognize as a forward when your defensemen are under pressure and when they need an outlet. I mean, you need an easy outlet at times. So yes, you can look for the guy streaking. Sometimes that's not going to be there. And when it's not there, you need to have the guy available that's there for the pass. And in a lot of instances, because we get all kinds of grief on Yamamoto, that's one of the things that Yamamoto does that the forwards group likes, that plays with him, and that the coaching staff likes, is he's usually the guy to do that. Like he's the responsible one, and that he doesn't try, which is also why he doesn't get as many points, because he's the easy outlet. Right, he's the if the streaking speed, high speed, higher risk pass isn't there, he's usually in position to make an easier outlet, and he did it a couple times. You saw him. There's one play in particular, he got an outlet pass up the wall in the neutral zone, and he made a nice little bump back to the centerman streaking through, who then picked up the puck with speed and was able to carry it in the offensive zone. But at times, and yesterday, whether it's Yamamoto or the other guys, they do get caught where it's like all 3 guys are like offense, and no, like, oh wait, our D-men are under pressure and there's no lane for them to pass us the puck, and they're under so much pressure they can't even just chip it up the wall, and oh wait, we turn over the puck now at our own blue line, and oh wait, it's a 3-on-2, a short 3-on-2 against, or a short odd man opportunity, or we're giving up chances, and that's where you gotta clean the game up. And again, they did a little bit more in the third, but the first 2 periods is like they did not do a good job of that.
All right, Gager, hop in here, buddy. What'd you think of the game last night?
I enjoyed it on a different level. I think, Cass, you were there. I was waiting for my sister-in-law, my niece, at one point, because we were going to go get them pictures with Jean. And I think Cass walked by me, and then another guy walks by and he goes, Gage, what's wrong? Like with those few expletives. Because the fans were just irate for the first 2 periods. They're just like, What is going on? This game is they suck. And then, like, the third period, they finally start putting things together, and just the whole attitude of the rink changed. It was crazy to feel that shift, and everyone's starting to get super excited again. So yeah, everything out of Cass's mouth is completely true. Like, they're like, the Oilers defense are sometimes like a quarterback in football, where they're getting blitzed and everyone's just running like,
it's a great comparison.
Routes,
just all post routes. Yeah,
they're just checking down to see which guy to get it to. Maybe they got to start working on that high lob shot to hit guys down at the end. But sometimes it does look like that. But then you got, Ekholm just unleashing Ragnarok with that shot of his.
Yeah,
the place goes nuts. One of the coolest moments of the game, though, was when Ekholm's his first start, he goes and talks to, he does that little interview after the game, and he mentioned something happy, and the fans just went nuts. It was so loud. So, and that was the coolest moment for me of the whole night. Just him getting a little bit of recognition, about the enjoyment that he's provided for a lot of the Edmonton Oilers fans. Like, that was a pretty cool, because you could see he was a little emotional there too. Just, and say what you want, playing in Nashville, it's a great spot, but Edmonton, you do get people that are a little bit more knowledgeable, and it was cool to see him get his due, because that guy, if the Oilers don't have him, it's they lose that game. And look, he was going up against Erik Karlsson. Like, those two were the best 2 players on the ice last night. Just 2 Swedes battling it out. And you got to say, Ekholm won the battle. Pretty cool. So, yeah, hockey wise, shitty game. Entertainment value very high.
Okay, so you bring up Ekholm. I wanted to talk about Ekholm a little bit. This was asked of me on my show this morning. Is he the? This is not meant to be a slight of Darnell Nurse, he's had some good seasons. Okay, so this is not a slight of Darnell Nurse, and I know it's just 10 games for Ekholm, but I was asked this question. I'm gonna throw it to you guys. Cats, I think you know where I'm going. Is Ekholm the best defenseman the Oilers have had since Chris Pronger?
Too early to say. Since Chris Pronger, too early to say. In the last 10 games, has he been their best defenseman? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's not a slight on Darnell Nurse. Darnell Nurse, although Darnell probably had maybe the worst shift I've ever seen him have at the end of the first period. Maybe the worst. I was like, the guy just needs to get off the ice. Like, just flush that one. Like, oh man, he like turned over the puck 3 times. He went for like to hit a guy once when he could have got the puck, like it was right there, and he just left it and tried to hit the guy. I'm like, why didn't you just get the puck? Then he turned over the puck. Then he turned over another puck. Then it was like bouncing around on his feet, and he was spinning trying to find it. Like he couldn't find the puck, and I was just like, oh my goodness, he just needs to get off the ice. But yeah, I listen, he's a different defender than Darnell Nurse, and he's a defense first guy. And I know he's got lots of points, and he's going to get points, when he's playing with McDavid and Draisaitl, because he's just going to make steady plays and get them the puck, and they're going to produce. Don't expect them to score goals all the time. Slap shot from below the hash marks doesn't work every time. Did yesterday, thank goodness. I'm not ready to say he's the best defenseman since Chris Pronger. Could he get there? Yeah.
I was going to say, like a year from now, could we be saying, like, yes, undoubtedly? I think that's possible.
It's potential. Yeah. But to say, is he the best defender they've had in a long time? Yeah, I think it's safe to say that. But we knew that. We knew he was going to be a steady defense first type of guy, and he's been exactly that.
Gager, what do you think to that Pronger question?
Yeah, I'm trying. Adam Larson was pretty special in that. Was it the 17 run, 18 run?
Yeah, he was really, really good then too. You're right.
Adam Larson played so well that season that people weren't even mentioning Taylor Hall by Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He was unbelievable, and he was mean. That first pass on the PK, he was deadly. But I don't think he had as much offense that Ekholm's showing right now. Ekholm said something pretty cool to me. He goes, when he scored that goal, and everyone knows don't expect a lot of that, but he said, because I'm now playing with players that command so much more attention from the other team, it allows you to maybe take your time a little bit as a not a non-threat, but a guy that's not known for his offensive prowess. And you can, in certain situations, you can take your time. Like he said, I just kind of came in. I knew I had a little bit of extra time, kind of picked my shot and let it go. So I think the experience of Ekholm being with Nashville for so long, playing with so many good defenders, and now coming to a team where he recognizes what he has in Edmonton. He's just making the most of his opportunities.
I'm trying to think. I mean, Larson's an interesting point, and it's so early to have this conversation. It just keeps getting asked of me, so I wanted your guys' opinion on it. Remember the one really good year Sheldon Surrey had? Remember, he had 53 points. There was a guy who could handle his own business and stuff, but that was only 1 year with the. He was with the Oilers for 3 years, but that was the one really good year that he had. It's not like it's not like it's a long list that Ekholm has to move up and past a bunch of guys to get there. So I think it's a conversation that will continue. But man, he looks like the absolute perfect fit right now. Mind you, that goal Erik Karlsson scored was ridiculous and tight like that. That was good. What's your problem, Gager? What'd you say?
I think one of the main problems with Darnell Nurse is when, obviously, that year when he signed that deal, he was phenomenal, right? And everyone thought that was going to be the norm moving forward. That could have been a little bit of an anomaly.
Well, it was a bubble year, right? He got a deal after playing Canadian teams and Canadian teams only for a season.
Yeah, so he's still a good defender.
I don't think the bubble year argument flies for me because we saw what
I
McDavid
think
did and
so.
other players did. Like, no, I think he had it. You could say that he had an anomaly of a year, but don't pin it on being in the bubble. I don't think
He only played
that
a quarter of
factors
the
in.
league.
Yeah, but it was tougher to actually score in the Canadian League, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't to say it was an anomaly and he had a really good season, I'm fine with, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't pin it on being in the North Division in that instance.
So what would you pin it on then? I'm just curious.
He had a good season. Like he had an anomaly. If you want to say it was an anomaly of his season, he had an anomaly of the season. But he'd been trending, right? Like he'd been trending upward in terms of his quality of play, and he had taken some big steps. And I thought, at that time was playing way more inside of himself defensively as well, to where he had, he wasn't just rushing out at guys. Like he had been more patient defensively, which I think, and still now he has done a better job of that compared to where he was at the start of his career of knowing when to go and be super aggressive and when he needs to be a little bit more patient. And then so it was an accumulation of a bunch of things. I mean, he's playing with McDavid and Draisaitl. I think that year he had a little bit more power play time, if I'm not mistaken, as well, where he had some power play points and higher shooting percentage, I believe, that year for him as well. So it's just there was, I think, a variety of factors, but putting it on the quality of the opposition, again, I don't
know. 18
what
games
you want to tell
against
me.
the Habs and Sens that year were pretty juicy.
But the Sens beat the other good teams that were in the North too. Like they weren't just absolute punching bags.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Anyway, I mean, pretty good 1-2 punch on the left side right now with Nurse and Ekholm.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
big for the Oilers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, definitely. 1-2 punch between the pipes. Gager, that's not a thing anymore, is it? Or, I mean, where'd you come out on? It was like I said this morning on my show, I wasn't going to spend the entire time, harping on Campbell for last night because, the team in front of him certainly broke down a few times. But I also didn't see him really significantly help them in many ways, whereas Reimer had to stand on his head at the other end of the ice. Campbell made a couple big saves third period, one in overtime. But this is like the 6th or 7th straight game where he's allowed 4 or 5 goals. And I mean, that's
4 or 5 goals.
Well,
or
more. I mean, I'm trying to be nice.
But did he allow 4 or 5 goals yesterday?
I guess he allowed 7 yesterday.
Did he allow 7 goals yesterday?
Back. I mean, if you look at those ones in the end, it was like he let in 1 out of every 3 shots that ended up on goal. So it wasn't a good game. I'll try not to beat on the guy, but Gage, you can't, there's no way he'll see the net in the postseason like this. There's no way.
Not unless Skinner really has the poopy pants going. You're not gonna
for multiple games.
Yeah, no, I was at practice last week or whatever, and he was working out with Hyman and Holloway, which, God, you forget how skilled these guys are. Holloway looks amazing, and so does Hyman, by the way. But when I watched Campbell working out, I felt just what I picked up just glancing over was his patience wasn't there on the puck. He wasn't making saves. He was just trying to kind of get in the way, and he was in between a lot of the times. He also made some good saves, but I just felt his timing and I mean, these guys are coming in and launching pucks, so it's very difficult. But I just felt that his timing was a little bit off. So when the start of the game, what I wanted to see was just seeing the confidence to get to the top of the crease and getting set and trying to take your ice back from shots. But even on that first goal, you see him on the goal line, push out, kind of stop, stutter, push out again. And it happened really quick, and I saw it slowed down, but there just wasn't that he didn't seem sure of himself getting out there to make that save, right? So Hurdle made an unbelievable shot, but there was a lot of hesitancy in his game right on that first goal. And then the rebound goal, and that was another thing that I wanted to see. How was he going to do on his rebound control? Because when you get shots on your stick hand side, it's a lot easier to control the rebounds because you have your stick. It's on your blocker hand. You can direct that either into the corner. You just can control it a lot better. And he pops that rebound right back out again. That's the sign of a goalie that hasn't played in a while. So I saw that he wasn't confident, right? But then, like you said, for allowing that many goals, even though they're disallowed, they still suck because the puck got past you, right? So good for him to kind of keep battling and with that mentality to make the next save. That would have been a very difficult game to play in, especially with the disallowed goals, a team you're supposed to beat. I said on your show, Dusty, that save he did make on Hurdle late on the stick side, unbelievable save and gave the Oilers a chance to win.
So can you, Gager, can you explain how it was an unbelievable save for me? Because my view of that save was that he made it look tougher than it was.
No, because Hurdle put it perfectly, and it's so hard to, when the puck goes that side, depending on where it is, right? But if you put it perfectly, you don't know what you're going to get it with, Cats. It's either your glove or your leg. It's in between, and it's a very hard save to make, especially when a guy like that's got a cannon and shoots like that, and you could see him battle to stop it. That was the thing. I remember some saves I made like that, but it's a lot more difficult than it looks, because with on the other side, you usually can catch it. It's a little bit awkward when guys put it, because that's where, look at the Nuge. He puts it perfectly. It's just over the pad, out of reach of the blocker. Unbelievable shot. And I just felt that for him to stop that and smother it up, I really liked that save.
Is that good enough answer, Cass? You think
fair
fair enough?
It's fair. I'm gonna trust. I trust Gager. No. I trust you in that. I did feel even late in the game where there was a couple of the saves that he did make, and it was like, yes, it was good he made the save, but at the same time, it was like still kind of wobbly. Some of them, for lack of a better word, where I was just like, they weren't. He wasn't self-assured with them, and some of them were still sketchy. It's like, well, he ultimately got the save done, but it was like it was still a sketchy save, and so I kind of felt that way too. So no, I'll defer, because Gager, you know more on the goaltending side and about the specifics of it. So you're gonna pick that apart a little bit.
Listen, I'm gonna need you guys to start yelling at each other at some point, so people will start talking about us. Like Gager tells Cass to F off.
No, he did that yesterday.
Right.
That was yesterday he did that. Yeah, at the game.
You're right. Like, but I know the feeling of being shitty for a while and then going into a game and trying to battle through, and I thought he did a great job of that. That's very difficult. He wasn't good, but he managed to get it done. And like I said on your show, I think he can gain a lot more confidence from a game like that, Dusty, where it doesn't go his way, but he does manage to eke out the win and build on this instead of just, Oilers play great. He stops 21 out of 22 and they beat them 5-4. I think this game is a lot better for his confidence moving forward.
I don't even want to ask it, but somebody asked it in the chat. Somebody asked in the shows, there's no way you're running them back against the Coyotes, are you? As like a second sort of game to get confidence? No? Okay.
No,
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either, but people have been asking.
The game in Phoenix, I think you could run
the back-to-backs. That's his next one.
Yeah, back-to-backs. That's his next one.
Yeah. Yep. All right, boys. Golden Knights or Los Angeles Kings? Who would you prefer the Oilers to play in the first round?
I got the Knights first round. I think they match up better against them. I don't like the Kings because I want to see them get beat up a little bit before, and the Fiala line scares me a little bit. That third line with him, I think he could possibly feast a little bit. So, I mean, they're both good teams, but if I had my choice, I'd go Knights.
Yeah.
I'm on the Knights as well. So, Cass, you going to make it unanimous?
No. I'll take the counterpoint. I I think LA for me has been exceeding what they should be capable of for most of the season. And they have kind of continually shocked me that they've been able to play as well. Like in some instances, I don't know how they're playing as well as they are. I thought they won a lot of their games early in the season by the skin of their teeth. Now they've been playing well recently. Like their last stretch of 10 to 15 games have been really, really
8-0-2 in their last 10.
Yeah, they're playing really well. But there have been stretches this season where I feel like LA was vulnerable and they were just kind of just squeaking out wins. Now they still found ways to win, and that's a dangerous thing. Here's the thing I feel with LA. If Edmonton can play defensively like they did against like a Dallas and like they did against Boston, I don't want to say they can wipe the floor with LA, but I think they can beat them and beat them well. It's not going to be an easy out, but I still some of the higher power players, because and you mentioned Fiala and like you have Kopitar and you have some guys in LA, but I look at like a Jack Eichel and I look at the Golden Knights and I go, I don't know, they make me a little bit more nervous than the LA Kings. So I think both are going to be tough outs. Like they're both going to be challenging series for anybody to win, and they could go either way still potentially. But I might lean slightly towards playing LA versus Vegas.
I think LA scares me a little bit. Well, I mean, but you're right. I mean, it's going to be a good series either way. I mean, I don't see anybody rolling over anybody in either. A couple of things just to wrap up with quickly. National Hockey League, one more thing. Is Daryl Sutter the head coach of the Calgary Flames at the beginning of next season if they miss the playoffs?
No, can't be. Can't be. If Daryl Sutter's the head coach, Trevling is gone, and they brought someone else in that is just going to approve everything and let Daryl Sutter run it. So the only way, because Trevling, I guarantee you, Trevling isn't able to do what he wants to do, isn't able to get in and bring in the players he wants to play, isn't able to bring up any of the young guys and actually really legitimately give them an opportunity to be an impact player. And even if he brings them up, they're going to be stuck and regulated into the Daryl Sutter style of hockey. There's no way. And that's not like Daryl Sutter has had a lot of success as an NHL coach, which should be celebrated. He had some great runs with some good teams, won some cups, did some amazing things as a coach and as a player too. His style does not work with their personnel and will not bring them any kinds of success. That's the reason, in my opinion, that Gaudreau is gone. That's the reason that Tkachuk is gone. Now, Trevling, with that being said, did some great things, I thought, to bring in players. But it's like, I mean, Huberdeau's been playing off position most of the season, and you haven't been able to score goals. Here's a guy that's got a history of producing, and you're having him play in a role that he hasn't had any success in. What are you doing?
Doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't make any sense. You're trying to force things to fit your style versus adapting your style to the pieces that you have. And there are going to be situations where that works, not with the Calgary Flames, not with this season. I can't fathom how he's still there, but he might be. There's reality that he might be. I mean, if he is, Trevlin's gone. One of the two's gone. GM's gone or coach is gone.
Gager, what do you think?
Sutter's only as good as his goalie. That's it.
Yeah.
He's only good when he has a Vezina goalie. That's the only time his teams are in.
Had one last year with Markstra, had one with Quick a few years, right? Like
had with Quick, had with Kiprusoff, right?
Yeah.
So he needs a guy. He needs a 9-2-5 goalie, or else he doesn't win games.
That's just not going to work. Yeah. That's an interesting point, too. All right, boys, let's wrap up with this game I'm calling Disney Character Connection. Fresh off a trip to Disneyland here. I'm going to give you a character, and then you tell me the movie. It'll go quick. These are very popular characters. I probably should have made it more difficult. There's a few that might end up being the difference maker. But these are, now that I look at them, they're way too easy. So get ready to react quickly, all right? Here we go. Ready? Here we go. Just yell out the character. Don't even go blah. Just give us the name, and I'll listen to see
the
who
movie.
gets it.
So we're giving the movie name.
I'm going to give you the character. You're going to give me the movie name.
We need a movie.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Tinkerbell.
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
Jeez, Gager, you had it. Your hand was up first, but you never said it, and Cass got it.
I know.
That was what you're like. And then Cass says Peter Pan. All right.
I mean, really, hey, hold on.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Dusty.
Do you want a blah, blah,
Tinkerbell's in Tinkerbell's in a lot of those movies. Like there's like Tinkerbell and the Never Beast.
About? Oh, I don't know that one.
There's like, just saying, she's in a whole bunch of different stuff. The
answer I was looking for was Peter Pan, and you got it. All right, here we go. Maui.
Moana.
Yeah. You're going to be screwed here, Gator, because this is like poster kids.
This is right in my wheelhouse, man.
All right, let's try this one. Lightning McQueen.
Cars.
Well, I think you guys said it at the exact same time. I only heard one word. I'm going to give you each a half point. All right. Jasmine.
Aladdin.
Gager, I expected better here. Olaf.
Frozen.
Frozen. Oh yeah.
Cass is running the table here. All right, this one. Sid the neighbor.
Sid the neighbor.
Beauty and the Beast?
Have you ever seen Beauty and the Beast, Gager?
No. I have.
Sid
But I
the
put it
neighbor.
on.
Yeah, it's a kid named Sid. The neighbor's kind of a clue.
Oh, that's Up.
No, it's Toy Story.
Oh, Toy Story.
Toy Story, the original
Sid.
Toy
Oh,
Story.
right, sorry.
Sid, the little psycho who lived next door.
Mm-hmm.
That kid's scary.
Yeah.
All right, Ariel.
Little Mermaid.
Gaston.
Beauty and
Beauty
the
and the
Beast.
Beast.
Cat still beat you to it, Gager. All right, and Gus the mouse.
Cinderella.
Cinderella. Yeah, nailed it.
Dude, I told you this is like
This is Cass, you're so impressive with your Disney princess knowledge. Gager,
Yeah,
what movies were your
absolutely.
kids watching? Like, what was their era of Disney movies?
Well, I guess it would have been Cars.
Okay,
And there was
Toy Story. It would have been in that Toy Story window.
A little bit of Toy
The Pixar,
Story.
yeah.
Yeah. Early Pixar. So
I knew I should have gone
Toy
harder
Story.
names.
Wally.
Wally.
There. Yeah. Nemo.
Oh yeah,
That's-
Nemo.
That's I was
A lot
I
of
was
Nemo
old
in this
school.
house.
And my first was a boy too, so there were some princess, but not as much as my daughter.
Not as many.
And second born,
Yeah.
you don't pay attention to them.
Do you guys up to date on Mando? Do you watch that third episode?
No, I had to.
Not yet. Okay. All right. We'll wait. Then. Cass, you watch it?
Yeah.
Interesting story development there. Hey? That was
Yep. I liked it.
It felt like Andor.
good.
It felt like Andor, but it was good.
It kind of takes you in a different direction. You weren't expecting the episode to go, but in a really good way, right? But I think leaves you with some questions, like with what happens at the end of it, where just in light of, I mean, ultimately, and you fine saying this, but the First Order eventually happens at some point, and so you're kind of like, okay, well, how does this translate from point now till then? So yeah, it was interesting. I thought it was good. It was good.
All right, Gager. Well, you enjoy it, and we'll talk about it later in the week, boys. I'll talk to you guys on Thursday, all right? Did Gager freeze at the end? He's completely frozen.
He's just upset about Disney.
He looks ridiculous. All right, see you later, Cass. Buddy.
Yeah.